Once, in a small town surrounded by hills and wheat fields, there lived a young man named Adrian. He worked as a waiter in a busy roadside cafe. Nothing fancy, just a place where travelers stopped for tea and stories. Every morning, Adrian arrived early, arranged the tables, and cleaned the cups until they sparkled. But no matter how hard he worked, he always felt invisible. No one noticed him. No one said good job. He was just another face in the crowd. Inside, Adrian carried a quiet ache, a voice that kept whispering, "You're not good enough. You're not important." One afternoon, as the cafe buzzed with chatter, an old man entered. He looked simple, gray hair, calm eyes, and a small wooden box in his hand. He took a seat near the window and said softly, "A cup of tea, please." Adrian nodded and brought him tea in a beautiful porcelain cup, one of the few expensive ones the cafe owned. The old man smiled, took a sip, and asked, "How long have you been working here, son?" "Almost 5 years," Adrian replied. The old man studied him for a moment and said, "And what do you dream of becoming?" Adrian hesitated. "Nobody ever asked me that," he said quietly. "But I wish I could start something of my own someday. Maybe a small bakery or a cafe, a place where people feel at peace." The old man nodded, smiling faintly. "Then why haven't you started?" Adrian laughed bitterly. "Because dreams are for rich people, sir. I can barely afford rent. I have nothing, no money, no connections, no luck." The old man said nothing. He simply reached into his wooden box and took out a small, delicate porcelain cup. It was cracked, a thin line running right across its side. He handed it to Adrian and said, "I'll give you this cup, but there's a condition. You must sell it within the next 3 days for no less than $1,000. Adrian blinked. $1,000 for this broken cup? No one would pay that much. The old man smiled calmly. "Try. You have 3 days. Then he finished his tea, paid his bill, and left. That night, Adrian placed the cup on his bedside table and stared at it. It looked useless, old, fragile, worthless. Who would buy this, he muttered. Still, the next day, he carried it to the local market. He showed it to shopkeepers, antique sellers, and even tourists. Everyone laughed. "Are you joking? It's broken, boy. Worthless." By evening, Adrian's spirit was crushed. He went home defeated. The next day, he tried again. This time, he went to a fancy art shop in the city. The manager looked at it for a moment, then said, "We don't buy damaged items. Try the recycling shop." Adrian's frustration grew. He felt foolish for even trying. On the third day, just as he was about to give up, an old woman entered the cafe where he worked. She was elegant, silver hair, gentle smile, the kind of woman who had lived through stories of her own. As Adrian served her tea, she noticed the broken cup on the counter. Her eyes widened slightly. "Where did you get that?" she asked. Adrian told her the story, about the old man, the challenge, and how everyone laughed at him. The woman listened quietly, then said softly, "May I see it?" She held the cup carefully, turned it in her hands and smiled. "This is not just a cup," she whispered. "This is kintsugi." Adrian frowned. "Kintsu what?" "Kintsugi," she repeated. "It's an ancient Japanese art. When something breaks, they don't throw it away. They fill the cracks with gold. The broken piece becomes more valuable because of its scars, not in spite of them." She placed the cup back gently and said, "Do you know who made this cup? It's from an old collection by Master Igarashi, one of the rarest kintsugi artists in the world. I'll buy it for $1,000. Adrian stood frozen. "You're serious?" She smiled. "Very." She paid him and walked away, leaving him staring at the money in disbelief. That evening, as the cafe closed, Adrian sat alone by the window, the golden sunset pouring through the glass. The old man's words echoed in his mind. "You must sell it for no less than $1,000. Suddenly, he understood. The cup had always been valuable, but only someone with the right eyes could see its worth. Just like the cup, he too had cracks, struggles, failures, scars, but maybe those weren't his weaknesses. Maybe they were his gold. A week later, Adrian quit his job. With the $1,000, he rented a tiny corner stall and began selling homemade pastries and tea. He named his little shop Kintsugi Cafe, beautifully broken. At first, it was small, just a few customers a day, but people loved the calm energy, the kindness in his service, and the story behind the name. Word spread. Soon, the small stall became a cozy cafe filled with laughter, music, and the scent of freshly baked bread. Months later, as Adrian was serving tea, a familiar face entered. the same old man who had given him the broken cup. Adrian smiled. "I knew you'd come back." The old man looked around, pleased. "You've built something beautiful." Adrian nodded. "You were right. The cup wasn't worthless, it just needed someone to see its beauty." The old man smiled. "And so did you." They both sat quietly, sipping tea. The cafe was filled with soft chatter and warm light. Outside, the evening wind carried the scent of flowers from the nearby hills. Adrian finally said, "You know, that day you gave me more than a cup. You gave me a new way to see life." The old man nodded slowly. "Always remember, Adrian, the world doesn't decide your worth. You do. Even broken things can shine if you choose to fill the cracks with gold." That night, after closing the cafe, Adrian placed a small porcelain cup on the shelf behind the counter. Its cracks gleamed softly under the light, filled with gold. A sign hung beside it that read, "Your scars are not your weakness. They are proof that you survived." And from that day onward, every person who entered his cafe left not just with a cup of tea, but with a little more faith in themselves. If this story touched your heart, give it a thumbs up, share it with someone who feels broken, and subscribe for more inspiring stories like this one. Because sometimes the things that seem broken are the ones that shine the brightest.